So there's been a lot to say about Modern Warfare 3 the last few days here from what all has been coming out, and while it now seems to be subsiding for the most part at least, if we're getting leaks, we're getting like streams of them, not the whole dam bursting like the other day, but while they're subsiding, I wanted to take today to focus a little bit solely on the gameplay related leaks. Some new stuff and some stuff we've touched on briefly, but I want to cover everything that we've seen so far in regards to gameplay oriented information in order to keep you up to date in the most thorough way possible for what's out there from Modern Warfare 3. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below on what you think of for these gameplay adjustments for what Modern Warfare 3 may hold, and if it sounds like Sledgehammer could be making an attempt to give us the game that we had hoped Infinity Ward did this year. Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, you'd like to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 3, XDefiant, and other FPS content, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you in the community. And finally, check out my friends over at G Fuel for 30% off your entire order with code Espresso on certain things like Hype Sauce, MS Melon, Hibiscus Tea Tubs, as well as starter packs linked below, but more on that a little later. For now, let's jump into it. So yesterday we touched on the fact that content will carry over from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, which is a good starting point that's kind of a recap but leads into everything else. If you missed it, it's probably the most confirmed thing we've had in regards to Modern Warfare 3. I mean, hell, we don't even know the name Modern Warfare 3 has been confirmed yet, nor even the developer of the project. But Call of Duty tweeted, let's get this out of the way. Should Modern Warfare 2 operators, weapons, and bundles carry forward into Call of Duty 2023? With a poll option of yes and yes, when is the reveal? Followed then by look for the first details of the redacted reveal event in the Season 5 announcement, and additional Modern Warfare 2 carry forward details soon. Stay frosty. So that fully confirms more information about the carry forward items that it would be happening, and detailed soon is honestly the most indescriptive and worst term that Call of Duty loves to use, so soon is something that's coming, but it doesn't give us much of a descriptor beyond that. So we know that rumor that we had heard before they tweeted about this is now true, which you can't help but wonder if that lends then cadence to the rest of these things that we'll discuss here in this video, and that's where we turn it over to genuine leaks, things that are not confirmed at the moment, but very much so seem to be the case. Again, as discussed, I really don't know if this is a matter of internal alpha leaks from the recently found Hailstrom Alpha for Modern Warfare 3, but it kind of seems more direct, like coming directly from QA, so something that has tested builds earlier on in development here. But these leaks coming from Bob Network UK and others, let's jump into it. Firstly, classic minimap and the red dots on the minimap appear to be returning. Now, I know this one is absolutely one of those points that for some, it's a die-hard must-have, but for others, they're entirely indifferent on it. It's not really that big of a deal. To me, if I can voice my piece on it, you're entirely cool if you want to object, but it's one of those things that I think just never needed to be changed. And in the arcade shooter genre, it was kind of one of those staple items that COD brought to the table. It incentivized movement and weapon selection, as if you didn't have a suppressor on, you'd be seen on the radar, meaning that you'd want to move to avoid players converging on you, but also giving agency and value to attachments like suppressors. Now, no one really looks at the compass, so minus bullet velocity or recoil benefits, things like suppressors don't really have as much meaning. But also from an informative perspective, even if you weren't chasing dots, it would allow you to know, oh, hey, somebody's moving over there that's really close to me. Maybe I should rotate to be closer to my team, or maybe I should get ready for a firefight. It's just something that allows you more information that gives you the heads up knowledge to be able to make a better in-game decision. That's just the way I see it, but it's absolutely one of those things where someone's going to be upset no matter what. But for me, I'd rather have a classic minimap, so if this holds up, I'm here for it. So that's something that is rumored to be coming back. The Ninja perk is apparently going to be coming as well. This will tie in directly with something we'll recap here in a little bit later on down in the video, but the discussion of gear was something that was brought up, where we've touched on this is apparently how perks will be working. We'll see gear in the way of vests, gloves, boots, and helmets that all act as 4 individual air quote perks, just renamed and not using the term perks. But Ninja, it was rumored to be one of those perks for boots. Now beyond that, we don't know anything else in regards to the boot perks, or honestly most of them. We have had a couple of them listed off, but if I were to guess, boots would be something that would relate to, say, movement style perks. So Ninja, maybe lightweight or marathon. Then things like your gloves would be like dexterity, fast hands, and other things in terms of agility. Vests and helmets, perhaps that's just like your core perks as well, like we see as your base perks in Modern Warfare 2. So Ninja looks to be something that returns in this capacity, and I'm entirely for that, especially if it's something where there's like the choice we had in Vanguard, where we could could use the field upgrade and not have to take the perk, or you could use the perk and not take the field upgrade, or you could double up on both if you wanted. But having that option is a good way, I think, to try to navigate what players want one way or the other. Apparently, a mechanic that will be returning is reload canceling. For those that don't know, you can kind of reload cancel within Modern Warfare 2, but it has to be up until a certain point. Once you end up starting the actual animation, your magazine's already out, you cannot swap weapons or sprint to cancel reload. Instead, it'll cancel the animation temporarily, but you're always going to come back and have to put that magazine back in. So a more realistic approach to it. Again, I'm kind of impartial on this one. I get the realism aspect of it. I think from an animation perspective, it's pretty cool, but it has gotten me killed plenty of times. However, it is something that absolutely you can end up working around and getting used to working with. But I also wouldn't care if reload canceling comes back, where it entirely negates that animation and you still have the 15, 16 rounds or whatever you had in your magazine beforehand back in if you just sprint real quickly or YY. I'm entirely impartial on that, but that's something that is rumored to be coming back. Another thing rumored to be coming back is the war mode from Call of Duty World War II. To me, this was a fun mode that was an alternative to play standard multiplayer here for World War II, but I think the most iconic part is, well, the bomb's been planted on our ammo supply meme that came out of that. I would love to see that make a return just like as something built in, not as an actual bug if this does happen, but I mean, that'd be fun to see. Now, if we're talking about other innovations that Sledgehammer made recently in the last couple of years that haven't been confirmed, but I'd be totally fine with seeing, one would be the headquarters, minus the whole it broke the launch of the game side effects that came along with that at the beginning of World War II, but also combat pacing from Vanguard I think was a great thing as well. I'd love to see either of those return, but nothing really has been confirmed or even hinted at with those, but just for conversation's sake. Beyond that, Modern Warfare 2 remastered maps are going to make a return here at this. That's kind of the whole premise for this expansion into a Modern Warfare 3. We mentioned it yesterday, but there's this thing that it seems like this was always going to be the central core and was seemingly going to be the year 2 plan either way. But Activision saw that $1 billion launch for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at launch and $1 billion more to date post-launch in revenues, that it makes sense that they'd want to see that again. So to justify a seemingly $70 price tag, they're tossing in a campaign, content transfer, zombies mode, which we'll touch on in just a second here, and more. So whether or not you agree with that air quote paid content, that seems to be the wrapper around the previously planned free core upgrade. But that means we'll likely see all of the apparent Modern Warfare 2 2009 maps in remastered fashion here coming back with it. Now, what content transfer beyond that in terms of multiplayer maps goes into that? If we get new maps on top of that, we don't know, but that's always been the central core of the gameplay focus for what is going to be on offer with Modern Warfare 3. Beyond that, we touched on it, a zombies mode coming here with this. That is rumored right now to be Outbreak 2.0. And one thing that I'm very curious on, because beyond just the mention of this, and even in some of the game files for Modern Warfare 2 right now that lean towards Jupiter Outbreak, so that being the code name for Modern Warfare 3, and then Outbreak, the designation here with that. Beyond that, I'm curious to see what this would entail, because, I mean, would that be something that ties then in with DMZ, where maybe that is partially a free-to-play element here of this, but I mean, that's kind of already an established open world mode here that we have, a sandbox, but then twisting it for zombies, that could be pretty cool, but we'll see how that works out. I know that DMZ is kind of the baby of Infinity Ward, and well, Infinity Ward hasn't really taken too well to playing nicely with other narrative direction in the past. I mean, I think they're on record for saying that they hated how they ended up turning Verdansk into a zombie wasteland to transfer to Verdansk 84, so I don't know if we'll see that actually happening. But anyways, the prospect of Outbreak 2.0 being there goes ahead and asks the question, well, will we see round-based then in 2024? Because creatively, it seemed like Treyarch wanted to embark on a different path in Black Ops Cold War, but perhaps this allows there to be both a new slate here for Outbreak, but then also round-based without that repetition year over year for 2023 to 2024. That'll be interesting, but absolutely cool to see. But then getting into some of the recap here, but talking about the gameplay-oriented stuff, we talked about how gear is going to act as perks. We mentioned there's going to be helmets, boots, gloves, and vests. We've already seen the vests detailed of the Overkill vest, Grenadier vest, Infantry vest, Scout vest, and Tactical vest, and the gloves of the Tactical Combat gloves, Scavenger gloves, Marksman gloves, Assault gloves, and Specialist gloves, but nothing in regards to boots beyond that rumor of Ninja being tied in there somehow, and also nothing in regards to helmets. But these apparently are going to be acting as if your perks would here normally, but kind of compounding on what we had for sort of the collection of of base perks in Modern Warfare 2 with bonus and ultimate perks, but not designated as such and not tied together as packages. Instead, just a repurposing of the 4-perk create a class system here that would allow you to customize in a different fashion. And then finally, gameplay related, the last thing we'll touch on here is that of, well, weaponry. We already talked about it. There's a handful of weapons that have already been leaked, that including the rifles of the AK-556, COG-58, Anvil B, the MCW, the MTZ-556, and the Holger, SMGs of the Lock 9, WSP-9, SAR-9, Striker 45, and Rival 9, the battle rifles of the Bass P, MTZ-762, Sidewinder, and TAC V, the snipers of the KVB-73, KVS Terminus, AMR-50, and the sidearm of the Raffica. So a lot of stuff is actually known right now, just out of the last couple of days in regards to content and gameplay itself for Modern Warfare 3, though nothing is officially confirmed. However, while other things that were leaked have come to be confirmed by the official Call of Duty channels, again, it kind of asks the question, how much of this will also come to be confirmed here very shortly? One thing also, before we wrap everything up, that I want to mention is that there were seemingly new icons leaked for ranked play as well, which already this far out, maybe, I mean, this might be just the hopium talking, maybe we get ranked play at launch instead of a mid-season like 2 launch here with that. We'll see how this all breaks down. But also another thing before we wrap it all up that I do find interesting is that Bob recently had mentioned that this build, he had been told only recently that it's about 3 months old. So UI, modes, gameplay features, weaponry, that kind of stuff is subject to change and is something that could very well be different, but hopefully in a better way at that. So that's something to consider as well, but that is where we're going to wrap everything up. So before we do, make sure to check out my friends over at G Fuel. Code Espresso gets you 30% off certain items like the tubs of Hype Sauce, Hibiscus Tea, and MS Melon, as well as starter kits in the month of July. So if you guys want to try something for the very first time, grab a restock. Now is as best a time as any. Again, link in the description below or the QR code on screen for you guys to check out. Code Espresso giving you that 30% off. But let me know your thoughts down below on what you think here of these gameplay leaks. Do you like the sound of this kind of stuff? Do you think it is something that Sledgehammer has the chance to revert some of what I think are frankly stupid changes that Infinity Ward made just for the sake of changing stuff in Modern Warfare 2? Do you think they have the potential to give us a game that we had hoped we'd see this year? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay updated with all things Modern Warfare 3, XDefiant, and other FPS content here on the channel. I'd love to have you. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.